It's 5:45 p.m., which means it's time for BCTV's weekly media roundup, 5:45 Live. I'm Kia Bailey.
And I'm Roland Boyden. On deck tonight, fires aplenty in the region. Vernon's school budget gets rejected once again. We've got some breaking news on a burglary in Brattleboro, all that and more in the next 15 minutes, including a look at National Police Week as well in there. So stick with us. Welcome back to this May 8th, 2015 edition of 545 Live. That's footage of the Take Back the Night event hosted at the Common at the end of April, courtesy of hardworking BCTV producer James Banslaben, who was there to record some of the events. As survivors and supporters of sexual violence came out to support each other on the Common, tell their stories, and help raise awareness about the pervasive issue across the community, the nation, and the world of sexual violence. All right, we're going to move on now, and with that, into the headlines we go.
A brush fire swept across 50 acres in West Brattleboro on Monday afternoon, bringing in 100 firefighters from 15 stations from 3 different states to control the damage. The rugged terrain which the blaze encompassed made it even more difficult to fight. The fire was contained by the evening, but firefighters returned Tuesday morning to check that everything was fully extinguished. This fire was one of only 3 that occurred on Monday alone, with another fire damaging property in Wilmington on Wednesday afternoon. For the first time since 2005, due to the dry conditions, there is a statewide outdoor fire ban in place until further notice.
Next up, during a special town meeting in Vernon on Tuesday, voters decided not to change their minds about the school budget or the town auditor position. With 169 in favor and 174 against, the elementary school's 2016 fiscal year budget was yet again rejected. If the budget is rejected for a third time, drastic cuts will have to automatically be made, which, according to Chairman Mike Hebert, would leave the elementary school with 87% of the budget they have now. The decision to completely eliminate the town auditor's office has been defended by residents in Vernon, saying it will save the town money, but others disagree, saying hiring an outside firm will provide less services for what the town will be paying them.
It is paid attention to that budgets go down, but this year I think most of the blame was laid at the foot of school boards being irresponsible and not controlling their budgets. And if you look at the history of this school board, it's been a long time since we've been over 2%. And they're talking about a 2% cap. And most of your communities have been frugal.
You can find the original Vernon Town meeting where this budget was first rejected amidst much controversy. It's all streaming at BrattleboroTV.org. All right, now back into the headlines we go.
On the night of May 3rd, 2 men tied a 60-year-old woman up in her basement and robbed her house in Charleston, New Hampshire. The 2 suspects took jewelry and gold and silver coins and bars from her home, leaving her tied up only to be found the next morning by a contractor. Based on surveillance footage, it is believed that the suspects are white males, and anyone with information is asked to call the Charleston Police Department at 603-223-8494.
All right, moving on now. Last Friday, May 1st, was International Workers' Day, which approximately 500 activists celebrated by marching and rallying in Montpelier. The protesters moved from the City Hall and the State House to voice their disapproval of Shumlin's plan to make $10.8 million in cuts to labor costs, adamantly declaring that taxing the rich is the best option. These drastic cuts would affect disabled Vermonters' ability to access integrative technology, something many of the demonstrators vocalized their discontent about with chants and songs. Well, thanks to BCTV volunteers Russ Graybeck, Kip Tewksbury, and Maria Dominguez, who were all up north in Montpelier last week for the special Mayday Workers' March on the Capitol. That'll be showing as a complete program in the coming weeks on BCTV, but glad to show you just a little bit of footage of that now. Again, thanks to those volunteers for putting that together. All right, on with the stories we go.
National Police Week is coming up starting on Monday, and the Vermont Senate has recently passed 2 bills which protect the safety of police officers. The first bill, National Blue Alert Bill, was passed on April 30th and aims to assist with the apprehension of violent criminals who have injured or killed police officers. The second one, passed more recently on May 6th, is the reauthorization of the Bulletproof Vest program, which aids law enforcement agencies in acquiring bulletproof vests.
For more on National Police Week, we turn now to 545 Live's hardest-working volunteer, James Banslaben, who's been out and about gathering footage of happenings around town and related to policing, community policing, the new police chief, and much more. He's put it all together into a special and included his own message. James, take it away.
This is James Banslaben for Brattleboro Community Television. This week, from May 10th to May 16th, is Law Enforcement Week, affectionately known as National Police Week.
Policing is one of the noblest professions that a person can undertake. It has incredible rewards and responsibilities. The citizens of Brattleboro know that our department has been tested in the past and has faced several challenges.
We're here at the Brattleboro Food Co-op for the Coffee with a Cop program, and it's a really good opportunity for police officers to sit down in just a casual morning environment, share a cup of coffee, and talk about things that people are concerned about.
James, how are you?
Mr. Banslaben.
Chief Police Fitzgerald and Captain Kerrigan and the Brattleboro Police Department have a vision. It's to reintroduce the community to policing the area. It involves the police officers to do social work on site.
Each situation is very different. Each person is very different. Each situation is different. When we arrive on the scene, it's very important to be receptive.
From the Brattleboro community at large, to Brattleboro Police, to all law enforcement, to all extended family of law enforcement, including the Federal Bureau Investigation, happy National Police Week and law enforcement.
Thank you for saving my life.
All right.
I didn't want to jump.
Oh, we didn't want you to jump in.
Moving on, close to 100 Vermonters employed at public access stations all around the state descended on BCTV last week as the Vermont Access Network Coalition of Vermont access stations gathered for their annual meeting, this time hosted right here at BCTV, which included a number of breakout sessions, vendors showing off new equipment, and much talk of the future of public access and how states and this station can work together, as always, to make public access better and more accessible to more people, include more demographics and more. So we've got a little footage to show you now of some of the response as Core Trowbridge led some of the discussion at the VAN annual meeting. Again, the Vermont Access Network hosted here at BCTV.
We're here at studio welcoming the VAN members to their annual meeting, and we've got probably going to pack like 65 people into this room, and we're showing off our light panels and our GoPro selfie, and we're going to have some other good stuff.
And now, this weekend's weather courtesy of the BUHS Morning News Advisory Broadcast Team, BUHS TV. What's the weather look like, guys?
Saturday will be partly cloudy with a high of 81 and low of 58. Sunday will be partly cloudy again with a high of 86 and low of 68. For Sunday is Mother's Day. It will be warm. Please wear shorts.
All right, with that, time to launch into our video calendar. This is all sponsored by the Brattleboro Savings and Loan, as their generous contributions to BCTV each year help fund our weekly look at upcoming events. And this time of year, it is bustling in Brattleboro. Plenty of events to look at, and we'll start by looking no further than documentary filmmaker Georgette Beagley, who joined me in BCTV's downtown studios earlier this week to talk about the upcoming event at the Vermont Jazz Center entitled Help Us Save Our Land and Culture, an event to help raise funds to stop the Baka people of Cameroon from being driven off of their land. For more, we've got a clip from that interview with Georgette.
In order for me to film the documentary, I had to go and purchase a land, which wasn't in a budget at all. So I did it with my own money. And now that I'm here, the leftover money that was left, the remaining of the payment wasn't done, so now they're being threatened that if it doesn't get paid, they will have to chase them out of the land that they've been living in for quite a, like 2 or 3 years. They are, trying to feel like home.
Now, the event includes the first ever screening of Georgette's documentary on the subject, as well as her own cooking, which many of you may remember from the Brattleboro Farmers Market, so a chance to get to try some of her food again, as well as music and dance, performances by the Singo Dance Troupe, and more. Again, 5:30 on Saturday, tomorrow, at the Vermont Jazz Center. And if you want to see the full interview with Georgette that I did as part of a Calendar Extra special earlier in the week, you can find it at BCTV's YouTube channel, youtube.com/BrattleboroTV, and of course, at BrattleboroTV.org. And with that, let's move on in the calendar here. Still plenty more items to check in with. Throw this one back to you.
All right, moving on with the calendar. Tomorrow, members of the community will get a chance to come out and show their support for the teens and students of the Above the Influence campaign as they seek to fund the next year's round of Above the Influence programming, with a special ATI bake sale and car wash fundraiser set to run from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m., with Rescue Inc. playing host to the event at their 541 Canal Street offices just south of the Price Chopper Plaza in Brattleboro. For more on Vermont's chapter of the Above the Influence campaign, you can visit ATI802.com or check out the short video produced by local ATIers themselves about why they've signed on for a lifestyle that doesn't always come easy.
I am Desi, and I'm above the influence of bullying.
I'm Elena. I'm above self-harm because everyone should feel safe.
I'm Keegan, and I'm above peer pressure because it can get you into other things like drugs and alcohol.
I am Trey, and I am above drugs because it screws up your life.
I don't smoke because I know it kills me.
I don't do drugs because I want to live to see 20.
I don't judge because I don't want to be judged.
I don't smoke because I know that the advertising for cigarettes is aimed towards younger people because they're killing off their consumers and just need new ones.
I am above the influence for my family.
I am above the influence for my friends and family because they need me and love me.
I am.
I am.
I am.
I am.
I am above the influence.
Above the influence.
And just quickly before we say adieu to this edition of the calendar, the Women's Chorus, Brattleboro Women's Chorus, is kicking off their set of spring events this weekend as well. That'll go on all through the spring, and some great music to be had, so be sure to check that out. More information at Brattleboro Women's Chorus, all one word.com. All right, that just about does it here for 545 Live. Thanks for checking in with us for another weekend edition. We're going to let you get out there and enjoy a gorgeous weekend of weather. We'll be back next Friday, 5:45 p.m. Eastern Time, right here on BCTV, Comcast Cable Channel 8. In the meantime, thanks for watching.
We're here at...
Video bomb!
We're here at the studio. Okay, now I've said something.